Hey Skyfarers, and welcome to Aethercast, the Kharadron Overlords channel and podcast, where today we're having a little chat with Alex Thibaudeau, Adeptus Diceus, about lists. Joining us as always as well is our own avatar of Grombrindle, Duard and Max Bowman.
Hello everyone.
And potentially joining us, if he wakes up, Hackonical. So yeah, how is everybody?
I'm good. I mean, it's been a while, at least a few months, but yeah, I'm glad to be back on Aethercast. Family, work, and stuff like that. I've only played one game of V3 so far, so looking forward to more.
Cool. And you've been on AOS Geeks a lot recently?
Exactly. Yeah. So here's probably representing my guys in Quebec. So it's a French podcast on AOS. It's not KO specific, but it's all things Age of Sigmar. So if you can understand French, it's a great channel to subscribe to. We got some great content, some tournament reviews, some battletome reviews as well. So yeah, just go and check AOS Geeks.
Yeah, and hopefully some KO content as well.
Yeah, well, we have some. We have some,
content,
of course. Yeah, Dwarden content, of course. Yeah, because we did the battletome review. I did a Tactica on KO, out of beat Overlords as well. So yeah, I'm doing, of course, since I play them a lot, so I get to do a lot of content about it on AOS Geeks.
Cool. Excellent. So news-wise, I don't think there is a huge amount.
Yeah, I'm well as well, thank you.
I think the only thing that's worth mentioning is that the core book FAQ and GHB FAQ have been removed from the Warhammer community site.
Yeah, GW didn't pay their license fee, so it got removed.
That's probably it. That's probably it.
Must be it.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't had the GHB one yet, have we? But I mean, that should be coming sometime soon, hopefully. So maybe the fact that the core book one disappeared means that they're making some changes to the document.
Hopefully. And we had some news. We had dragons.
That's
yes.
true.
Oh yeah, true. Dragons are coming, and potentially
Dragons are coming. They look like child toys, but cool.
I mean, they're dragons.
They do look a bit weird, don't they?
I
don't know. They look a bit like those like toy plastic dinosaurs you can buy for your kids. Like I don't know, not as much detail as I'm used to from W Miniatures.
I didn't look at the models that closely, to be honest. Do we think they will be able to go in any order army? Or at least the good one.
I think apart from Daughters of Cain and Lumineth, everyone can have Stormcast anyway.
Yeah.
And I think since now they also mentioned, because they are in the new battletome, they said in the article. I mean, at least the good dragon probably has a Stormcast keyword. I'm not sure about the bad brother or cousin or the Scar one from the Lion King. That guy. If he's going into the order stuff, who knows? But I think they are, because they're like bred by the Seraphons and they fight the bad guys. So yeah, probably.
Yeah, there was a short story they put out a while back, and there was on like a Seraphon spaceship basically, and they just opened the doors to this place and there's a load of dragons in it. And like, oh yeah, this is what we've been up to, breeding dragons.
Yeah, breeding the eggs that Kragnos didn't smash last time.
Yeah. So, I mean, the question is what do you think of dragons with KO?
I don't know. I mean, I think it would be great for conversion ideas. Myself, I'm not that too keen on mix and matching, those kind of models, just like Bruno, the Mega Gargant. But, as using
Bando.
for... Yeah.
I'm going to call him Bruno from now on.
Yeah, sorry. I think it was
Bruno Wildbiter. Yeah.
There you go. So, I don't know. So maybe I don't see myself like buying a dragon just to have one. If you can ally, somehow ally a dragon into KO, I would probably looking for conversion ideas. But other than that, I'm not too sure about it, to be honest.
You could take the AdMech helicopter thingy that looks
Yeah.
very much like that kind
It's got
with the
big wings. Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, totally.
Take that one. Also, I'm looking to see the War Scroll. I think it's great to have access to another monster, especially in this edition.
Especially since the good one, the Stormcaster one, looks like it's potentially a wizard as well.
He's a wizard, yeah, he is.
Yeah,
and he's a monster, and he's probably better than a Magma Druff. Although it hurts to say so, but they're not as good, sadly, as a monster to ally in. I think conversion-wise, I mean, I'm the guy who converted the Prime, the Elf Twins, anything. So I'm probably gonna end up converting some sort of dragon. I have plans for my own Bruno.
There you go, Bruno.
But he's a giant slayer, pun intended. Yeah. He's a giant slayer. Let's see what he does.
If there's a Dwarven conversion of something, Max will do it.
Yeah, I have to. The only way I'm accepting it into my army if it has a beard, maybe a bearded dragon, maybe. But there's loads of third-party dragon models out there. There are awesome stuff. That's great. Max... Then we've seen some vultures for orcs. They also look very cool. I think great models.
Because it's been 2 weeks since we did a show, isn't it? So it's
it's been a while. It's been a while. So there's been a lot of stuff. We've seen some rules for Cruel Boys. They're pretty shooty, or they can be shooty. I don't know. They said it sounded like mid or late August. We'll see the Stormcast and Cruel Boy battletome.
We'll probably see the Thousand Suns versus Grey Knight announced tomorrow. And then the week after that, we'll probably see the new battletomes for Orc Warclans and Stormcast. That'll be my guess.
Cool.
That sounds like reasonable. That could happen. Yeah, I can see that. Cool. Max, you've been playing some games today, haven't you?
Yes, I've been playing games the last 3 days. Since last weekend, I was in Kassel at the Mini Paradise Club, which is a big community and a club in Germany, prepping for the AOS Worlds, so playing AOS 2. A full weekend. We did 2 days of gaming. That was great fun. It was great to do it. And then I came back and said, okay, let's dive into, let's submit it. Let's dive into AOS 3 and what the jizz is all about. We did a game together, me and Yuli, online, where I think I won. Not more than that. Gotrek won, and Iron Drakes won, but it was not KO. And then I tried now this week to play against Luminef with Cities list. I played yesterday with against Archeon and Zinj with a Mhornar list, which worked well, but I did some mistakes. Today I played against Sons of Behemoth. They are great in the new edition with the same Mhornar list. And then later today I played against Slaanesh with a Fring list, which I prefer, to be honest.
Okay.
Which works great, but that redeploy thing is just, it screws me over all the time. Like they lost me the game yesterday, and it lost me the game like turn 1 today against the Giants. Like it lost me like my entire army basically.
Wow.
That stupid redeploy. Yeah, it was just one stupid Arcanaut that went too far, and there was no need for him to go that far. And then just the Giant. Oh, I'm gonna go over here 6 inches. And this Giant is gonna. Now I can charge you, but with both Giants into your boat, and boom, there goes my boat with everyone inside. But. Unpopular opinion, I think Gotrek is a trap. He's too slow.
Interesting. Too slow. I said it from the start, to be honest. He's awesome, but now even with a smaller table, you think it's still a trap?
He's very dependent on the scenario. I mean, against Guardians, I played the one where only leaders score. He's not the leader. Great. What is he doing? Not doing much. He ran forward in one direction. Gargants went the other way with 12 inches. He's going the other way. Yeah. You can just ignore him or kite him. On Thursday, he killed 10 wardens of an objective. Great. He didn't. And then always when he wants to charge someone, so he moves 4 inches within 9, they redeploy on average 3 inches. So he needs a 9-inch or 10-inch charge. He's not going to make it, even with not very often. If he does, great. He's going to kill what he touches, but it's a lot of points that are just moving around, and then he's one model, which can be fed chaff or can be ignored. He's not dying, that's true, but he's not doing much else in my games. Maybe I'm playing him wrong. Maybe I need to commit him more, like to one direction, just go there and do his things. And in the Mhornar list against Archeon, like Archeon, he just ignored him. He said, "No, I'm not going to play with him. I'm going to go the other direction." I mean, Archeon on a 3.5-inch movement was fun. So double navigator, I must say, and then half charge. But Archeon is also scary if he gets in. With all the buffs
It's probably the most OP model right now. I don't
because
see...
he has the speed. He's a wizard. He can cast Slaves to Darkness spells. He has all the keywords. He can do a lot of shenanigans. He used Tzeentch Destiny dice. He can give himself +1 to hit, +1 to wound, reroll wounds and hits, reroll saves from just an ability or a spell. He can also do that with a spell and leave the sorcerer at home. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. To be honest, outside of Hand of Dust, I don't see how you kill Archeon right now. I don't see how you do it.
If you get first turn and he doesn't have all the buffs, you can probably shoot him dead.
Still, I mean,
it's hard
because
he's then on a 2+ save.
You can get Finest Tower, you can get
Best
All
day
Out
ever,
Defense.
yeah.
So with +2 saves, so you're at the 2-up ignoring a random 1.
That's also a problem I found in my games with Kharadron. Almost everything is one rend, and it's not worth much.
Yeah,
currently.
definitely.
It's still good.
Well.
It's still good, but it's not as potent as it used to be. And another takeaway is Aether Gold. I mainly use it for +1 to wound or for Arcanauts to just Inspiring Presence, basically. Which is nice because you can roll first, re-roll on the objective with the Arcanauts, and then you can still choose to use it. So then, like 2 Arcanauts on their own, they just stick around and be annoying. But other than that, what else are you going to do with the gold? Re-roll a charge? Nah, don't think so. No. Not with KO. Yeah, that's basically my takeaway. But we'll talk more. I think when we talk about the list, maybe there's some more comments.
Yeah, I've played so far 1 game and 1 demo game of 600 points for a new player in my area. And, you know, the one thing after even that short experience is I'm used to more stuff dying when I shoot. I played against, my only game was against Flesh Eater Courts, which is not well armored at all. And I was struggling to kill like a dragon. I was struggling to kill an Archregent. That those +1 saves that can stack, you can have access to them really easily. It's going to be hard for us. It's going to be really hard for us because we don't have access to that many mortal wounds. But instead we have, you know, a lot of rend across the army, but it's rend 1, sometimes rend 2. I think you're going to see some of my lists. It's in some of my lists. I put in more drill cannons.
Yeah.
Because
I find myself using the single shot on the Ironclad more often, just because it has 6 damage. It's 1 shot. You might miss it, but you can give a +1 to hit. So it's 2s and 2s. But you can get that 2 rend.
Yeah.
Just that.
But even then, it normally ends up being like on a 4+ save. They're 3+ save base, and they have
but it's a chance to make 6 damage. If you do the like 6 shots with 1 rend and 2 damage, you're gonna fail 4 of them.
It's a bit of a gamble, because if it works, it pays off, and then if it doesn't,
but it's even with the Gunhard, do the single shot. You know, instead of doing the shrapnel shot, which is already like a gamble because it's D6 shots. And then they only have 1 rend, so he saves it on 4s, and then 1 goes through. 2 damage, and then he has an after save maybe. Like, he's not doing any damage to Gunholder now. So maybe the single shot or a drill cannon on the Gunholder is better.
Yeah. And and then the subject of rend. I mean, we have some -3 rend and -2 rend, but it's mostly 1 shot per unit. When you get
-3 is the drill cannons, but then it's if you go to the -3 rend, you already fail to do the mortal wound, and it's D3 damage. So then there's again that spikiness, 1 or 3. I always end up with 1. So
I mean, my point is like, if you want to get the -3 rends or the -2 rends, it's one, it's only one gun in a unit. It's not like you take a particular unit and you get like 5 shots at -3 rend. It's like, okay, you need to like commit to it in several places.
So that concept would say, okay, use engine riggers, because 2 rend saws, you can get them on 2s and 2s now, but they're expensive and you struggle to get them in combat, I think.
And potentially they could get shot when they charged.
Yeah, or they fail to charge because someone moves away.
Yeah, because
there's no much pluses to charge now. So if you fly high, then you always need to make that 9-inch charge, which is a struggle.
Yeah,
that's what killed my Zon list. To be honest.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
I mean,
my +4 battle ram ship list.
Yeah.
Which I'm playing at AOS Worlds. So people lists are official and out now. So yeah, watch out. Zon. I'm the only Zon player.
Okay. So
much respect.
Before we dive into some of these lists and sort of have a more in-depth conversation, I think Alex Adeptus, maybe because we've not had you on for a while, and actually the channel has grown quite a bit in the meantime, which is nice. I think actually we were at 1,499 subscribers. So if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, make
Adeptus, you need to subscribe. Please subscribe.
Strangely enough.
Yeah. But maybe there's some people watching that haven't seen you on the show before. So maybe we should talk about who you are a little bit for those that don't know. Obviously, me and Max know. So I mean, back originally when we had the first battletome, there was a point in time when KO were considered quite bad because we had some nerfs but then you took them to a tournament and won quite a big tournament, didn't you?
Against Slanesh. Which were
at
the height of their overpowerness.
Yeah, in the era of activation wars. I mean, it was. I'm Canadian, first of all. So for those who don't know, French Canadian. So English is my second language, and I took him to back then in 2019. It was the biggest AOS event in Canada called the Capital City Bloodbath, and I took a KO list with ships. Back in the days where 40 Arcanauts was a norm, and it was a 6-game event, and I ended up 6-0. So I won the event, and I think I was one of the first guests on Aethercast back in the days, and I stuck around for a few more shows, and I became a recurring cast member of the crew, and it's been a while because now. With family, with work, stuff like that, I'm doing another French Canadian show called AOS Geeks, and so it takes a lot of my time. Plus, I'm less on the tournament scene. I'm more organizing the events. So we had, which is now the biggest event in Canada, called the Grand Clash. It was a few weeks ago on July 10th and 11th. So I'm, my hobby time, yes, I do play some games, but I spend most of my time organizing them. But I'm going to play in my own created event tomorrow, a 1-day event, 16-player event. So I'm going to play. I will always be off competition, but I'm going to play. So it's 3 games. And it's going to be my first real experience with V3. So that's a bit how I got there. And in the meantime, during the pandemic, because in my real life, I'm a teacher, I'm a football coach as well, the real football, not the one you guys played in England, but and Germany as well. And so
don't mention the football.
Don't
mention the World Cup.
Sorry about that.
Not World Cup, the Euro.
Sorry about that. Didn't want to. Sorry about that. So I like to coach. I like to teach, and during the pandemic I started a personal coaching service for Age of Sigmar, and I'm gonna just drop it here. If you're interested in upping your game, it's a paid service, but I can offer list building, personal coaching, event preparation, stuff like that. It's Adeptus Coaching on Facebook, or you can write me an email, adeptuscoachingaos@gmail.com. I'm writing weekly content. Of course, it's in French, so most of you will not read French, but I can coach, I can teach in English, no problem. So if you're interested, yeah, just write me an email and we'll talk about it. It can be from beginners to more experienced players. I can go the whole spectrum.
Cool. There are links for the Facebook group and for the the email address in the description as well. So I want to check them out. And because
Cool.
But after 2 hours of listening to us, you might not remember those. Okay. So I mean, we've roughly talked about how we feel about KO in 3.0 a little bit. Is there anything? I mean, Ronan in the chat asked about this. He said, like, what do we think has changed mostly for KO in 3.0?
Oh, that's a great question.
And will we be bleeding until the new battletome?
No.
Yeah.
We're not going to be tougher.
It's tougher, yes.
No, it's going to be tougher. I mean, I think that all the hate that us KO players receive for the past year and a half will probably be gone because we will not be at the top of the food chain anymore. That's for sure. But that being said, there's some play for sure. Oh, there's a thunder from down under. What's up, Kron?
Good morning. Hello. How's things?
Well,
good to be here.
We have a little bit of echo.
Yeah, that's true.
Echo? Hang on. Sorry.
It's still there?
Yeah. Echo still around?
No, I think
yes.
Yes. It's when we speak. We can hear ourselves.
All right.
Okay. He'll be back in a minute.
Oh, so there's no echo anymore. We're all fine.
Yeah, you fixed it.
So yeah, it's I would say that we are competitive, but we are not dominating like we were before. And I think we're probably, I don't know. I mean, is mid tier a bit harsh? Or
yes.
Well,
A tier.
You reckon A tier?
Not S tier, but A tier. I think we can put if you put your thoughts into it, you can still win.
A and B, between A and B, lower A. Okay. I think because so far, and I only have one game of experience, but from what I've seen, read, the thing with KO in V3 is we have less stuff. We can fit less artifacts, less engine works, less units, and because of the easy access to +1 save and to Ren ignoring that way, it really screws us a bit. So, we're still scary. We can still do a lot of damage, but we probably do less with a bit less model. But we're still competitive, that's for sure. But I wouldn't put us with the big dogs anymore. So far,
I agree on most things apart from the artifacts, because with the new battalions, there's easier access to artifacts, which before was hard to get, like the battalions in, and then you had to take this forced artifact because of the for example, playing a fring list today, and usually you never got like an extra artifact in there somehow because the battalion points were too much and stuff. And now it's just, I have these free heroes, just stick these in a vanguard or whatever it's called, the command entourage, and boom, I get another artifact. And I can just kind of phosphorite bomblets in a list where before you struggle to get that.
And that's a good point. The only thing I'm struggling with is if we do that, if we take command entourage, that's at least a 4-drop list. So right now, I'm not sure if a 4-drop list is too much, is too many drops. I don't know, but from usually you want to get as low as possible. That's my play style. For me right now, just for tomorrow's event, out of 16 lists, 8 of them are 2 or 1 drop. So with 4 drops, you're in the upper tier, whatever you want to call it. So you won't get to choose priority. in at least half the matchups. So I don't know. I so far I got a few lists that are 4 drops, a few of them that are 1 or 2 drops or 3 drops. So I'm still trying to figure out what's the magic number. Beforehand, with Iron Sky Command, you could go 1 drop, extra artifact, and have the Warp Lightning Vortex wherever you wanted. Now it's we'll see if 4 drops is too high a price to pay.
Yeah, I see a lot of people going low drops, but I don't mind it. Before I had the same philosophy in the old edition. I was low drops because I want to dictate who goes first and who goes second, because obviously you want to go second for double turn potential. But now, because the 1 drop happens everything at once, like you need to put down their entire army, I see it as a kind of a bit of a disadvantage. Like you're showing all your cards.
That's
and
true.
then because we can stay far away, I'm going to stay away from the Arcane because he's over there. I'm going to stay away from this, out of spell range. I'm just going to sit here. If you want, go ahead, or make me go first. So I don't actually mind that much being higher drops. I even find myself ignoring the battle regiment and going like more for the the Heartland Hunters, where you ignore the monster stuff, or you go for a great chrono echo for like extra artifact or some other shenanigans. But we'll see what happens in time. Yeah, what is good.
It's almost worth it to start taking the custom Skyport with the collector command trait just to get 2 artifacts out of it like that.
Yeah,
sure. It's a possibility.
It is good. It is good to have that possibility because our artifacts are still good. Some now are good that weren't
Very
before.
good.
For example, the Admiral's Masscaler to spend a command point without paying a point, which you're gonna use for reroll ones on the Ironclad most of the time. So put him. I think he went up in stonks in values.
For sure.
I like him in my lists. 120 points or 125 or whatever he is now. Still fair price for him. Give reroll ones. He has a feel no pain. He's Belt Shock Immunity bubble, which we lost from the battalion. So 12 inches still good from if he's inside the Ironclad, so that's still a big bubble. I like him. He has some good artifacts. So yeah.
Admiral, I scarcely played him in the V2. Now it's in every one of my lists.
I never played him because he could go in the battalion as an extra, like him or Brock or none, but he was just 120 points. Like I'd rather take a navigator or a chemist or something else. Because why would I use his reroll ones command ability? Like, why do I need him? I can do this for free. So he was that was senseless. Now it makes some sense. Giving +1 to hit now on the attacks is good because it affects everyone in the boat and not just one unit. And I think it targets him, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's an
aura.
Is it him or the boat? I'm not sure.
I think it's him because he's spreading the aura. Kind of. Is that the theory?
I'll double check real quick.
The reroll ones?
Or the reroll +1 to hit, +1 hit in melee.
Yeah, the +1 to hit is everyone inside the boat.
Yeah, but so I could give another command ability to someone in the boat from another hero.
Oh, you mean whether they receive a command ability?
Yeah, because they don't count as receiving it, but he's the receiving person because he's spreading the aura, or he's broadcasting
I'm checking it right now.
But I'm not sure if it's an aura in this case because it's like saying everyone in the garrison. So I'm not sure. But like for example, things that say you get a extra bravery in an aura around him, I think the rules say it is as if he was a target of the command ability because he's doing it on himself.
It's not that clear.
It is not, and there's a lot of stuff in KO which are not clear.
Oh, of course. Well,
Lee has a big list.
Yeah,
that he's a big list of grudges that he's sending to the headquarters. He needs clarification.
Yeah, I think if he target the sky vessel, to be honest, because the rule says if you do so, pick one friendly sky vessel that has a model with this command ability in its garrison. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by that sky vessel and any models in its garrison.
But that's fine then. That's fine then. You pick the sky vessel and there's in melee. You might want to pick the sky vessel for a +1 save.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, but still, I think Admirals, he's better now. He's good. He has a point in being in lists. Yep, and I have one. I painted him up early when I got the army, and I never used him, so I'm happy to use him now.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Awesome.
So, and I think we have some lists we want to look at. I think he's great for the reroll ones, I said, or you just go fring with 3 units, rerolling ones against 3 units, your entire army basically rerolling ones. That's so strong now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is so strong.
And generally speaking, regardless of what you're putting a list at, in terms of actually playing improvement, how are you finding the scoring system now?
I like
because we struggled with scoring objectives in the past.
In the first turns, yes, we always struggled. Apart from the one that was in our deployment, yeah, we used that 10 Arcanauts on it, and you scored that for the rest of the game. But then it was like, can I do enough damage or get my opponent off by turn 3 to then move on and score? And now I like it because it's like, oh, you shoot down a monster, you do your battle tactic, you get 2 points. You got 1 or 2, which is like in a free objective game is already then more than your opponent, so you get another point for that. Then you get these extra. I played one today where you had like a specified unit, and if your units killed the specified opponent's units, you got an extra one. So there's a lot of extra points to gain, which keeps games close, although they look like you've lost them. Like I had games today where after round 2, like I lost half my army. I was like, okay, I'm not going to win this. And I kept it close until the end, and I lost by 2 points maybe, just because there's so much scoring to still be done.
Yeah, I think it plays well into how we attack a battle plan, because the way I play, and I think from what I've heard on the show, I think Max, you played it roughly the same way. You concentrate on one side on 2 objectives,
yes,
or on 3. So you focus on them, you control them, and in the new scoring, you can get away with controlling 2 objectives pretty much the whole game. The way also that you score or you gain control at the end of deployment is a good thing for us as well. I like the fact that you can score points multiple ways. Monster killing is obviously nice for us because we don't play with monsters unless you play Thring with Magma Drots. You get score points for killing specific units with battle tactics, which is nice. So yeah, I think that's one thing going for us in V3.
Although the monster also works in the other way, because monsters, they do get a lot of extra points for doing stuff, for scoring their things.
That's true.
They get a lot of, like, you run 3 Gargants and they get like an extra point just for doing that. Or you've like monsters take over. You have a monster taking over an objective, you get an extra point. We can't even do that one, for example.
That's true.
So I think it's balanced. I like it. It's much more thinking. What I don't like, it's a lot more bookkeeping. You need a sheet to like figure out, okay, just to write down which battle tactics have I used and which have I not used. Because you get from the GHB book, which I said this before, is a great product, and you get these little cutouts or cards tokens. The thing is that they're double-sided, and like you keep forgetting which have I used and which have I not used, and like they should have been just one side, and you can flip them over. Used, okay, or discharge. But now because you need both parts, it's a bit complicated, but at least you have them handy and as a reference. It's much more bookkeeping, but it's less downtime for your opponent. Like they can do stuff. You need to wait. Are you gonna redeploy? Are you gonna do something? I'm gonna target you. Are you gonna do all-out defense? Are you gonna do your heroic action? What are you gonna do? Monstrous things. Like there's much more back and forth, which, as a game, I think is enjoyable.
Makes it more interesting, really.
Yeah, it's more of an interaction. We talked about, we did a whole show on this. Like sitting through a double turn of shooting is just not fun for your opponent.
Yeah,
agreed. Agreed.
At least now he can like declare, I'm gonna do all
redeploys and
or a redeploy. Yeah, watch out for those redeploys. They're tough.
They make it harder for Gotrek to get stuck into anything. Yeah. Tell you what.
Yeah, I've said this at the start of the show. Like it ruined my Gotrek lists. That stuff is like, yeah, I'm reconsidering him, sadly, because he's a great.
As you should.
My current thinking with the scoring is you need to be thinking ahead a lot more. It's very easy to fall into the trap of, right, okay, well, there's an easy way for me to get my battle tactic this turn and score some points.
Mm-hmm.
And
then
you
you obstruct what you could do later.
Or you're not thinking necessarily about what that will do to your opponent next turn. It's like, if you get behind just because, say, your opponent takes the first turn and moves on to the objectives first, and then all you're doing is really scoring 2 points from holding 2 objectives and then getting your battle tactic, you're never going to catch up and take the lead. Like, you need to be thinking about the battle tactics can be a bit of a trap of like, okay, well, I'm scoring points, so I'm not getting far behind, but you need to make sure you're picking things that.
What you need to consider and never forget is the strategy, because that's 3 points, and they can win or lose you the game.
And that's
like if you
easy
see,
to
he's like
forget.
he has his wizards, focus those wizards, because that's 3 points that are guaranteed for you.
Yeah. And or potentially denying them. If things like an objective feel like, oh well, I get 1 more point if I take that objective, whereas if I get my battle tactic, I get 2 points. But you get the objectives and potentially stop your opponent scoring it next turn. It means you might get it the turn after next as well. And if you can double up on things, so you can get like I quite often was originally thinking, okay, well, I won't do the one where I have to kill a battle line unit because that's a nice easy one I can do late game. But actually, sometimes doing it early game, getting an objective because you get your battle tactic and take an objective is better than just getting a battle tactic or just getting an objective. If you double up and get both, it's always much better.
Yeah, you're always aiming for those 5 points if it's normal scoring per turn. Although, you need to think ahead, and also what other battle tactics do I have left for later turns? Like the one for KO, which is great, like have 2 units in your opponent's territory. Those are great for last game. Like, okay, take this gunholder and this ironclad and just fly over here. Or take a gunholder with some dude and a balloon attached to it and just send them over here. Or run some ether wings over. I don't know what. That's easy to achieve. Others are more hard to achieve.
The ones like pick an enemy monster and kill it seems like it should be easy for KO, but as soon as you pick that, then they do
the best day ever thing.
Finest hour.
Finest hour. I'm calling it best day ever.
Best day ever.
And you can guarantee then that all out defense is going to go on that hero.
I had that today. Like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna slay a monster. That keeper just doubled up on saves. Like, okay, next turn I'm gonna kill your warlord. Okay,
I'm gonna double up.
I played against Matt last weekend on TGS, and I picked the battle tactic to kill the monster. He was on an objective as well, so if I killed it, I would also get the objective. And it come down like I just put my ironclad into it, 20 Arcanauts, 3 heroes, riggers, and it come down to the Arcanauts had to charge because the riggers failed their charge, and the last save roll, and then it come down to, of course, the last feel no pain roll.
What was it? Great Unclean one?
Yeah, Great Unclean one.
Yeah, those
he
are...
did die, but it was hard. That was a lot of damage.
They swallow a lot of damage, those ones.
That's a lot of shots and attacks for one model.
And I had flare pistol as well, so everything was really wrong. And it still come down to combat. So
and that means a lot because we have a lot of output. Then you see other armies; they just don't have that output. They're not bringing that output to the table. Like no way they're doing that much damage. They were
to be honest, I kind of hope, and I only played 1 game so far in V3, as I said, but I think from the looks of it, the save mechanic is flawed. The way you can stack those saves and make a unit nigh invincible, I don't know. I'm not sure it's a good game mechanic, to be honest. I'm gonna try it out tomorrow for 3 games. I'm gonna have some more experience with it, but that's the only thing in V3 that I don't like so far. The way
it makes stuff much more survivable. That is true.
I mean, we're having problems at the moment with things like the 0+ save Nagash or Archaon with who get rerolls to their saves. So it's essentially just this 2-up save that you can't rend away, and they're getting rerolls on it. And what are you supposed to do against that?
And a 4-up ignore mortal wounds or ignore spells or whatever.
Reroll 6s to hit and then bounce back mortal wounds on a 6 Lord save.
There's just no way.
Okay.
So I'm starting to think that 2 navigators are becoming mandatory in a list, just to basically pick out like a Morath or an Archaon and go, and your movement 4. Stay over there.
3.5. Yeah.
That's going to be a standard tactics, I think, for KO going forward.
It might seem a trap though, because Archaon great, Morathi great. Techless, okay, he's not moving that much, but okay. But then
Maw Crusher
against all the other heroes, monsters that are not flying, or the armies that don't have that, are you gonna
more Crushers have fly?
Half move a Croak? Like why? Like there's gonna be a lot of matchups where they're not doing anything with that half move against flying. That's what I'm saying. It is great if you face
one
that
is
army.
enough.
That's my thinking as well. Maybe one is already enough.
I could see 2 in Mhornar to get the flare pistol.
Yeah, I used it to get the Voidstone Orb.
Or the Void. Yeah, that's another great pick.
To like stop that spell porter from Kairos.
Navigators just have fantastic arthefacts, like all 3 of them.
They do, and they're 100 points? No, less. 95.
95.
It's just they're good, and they have 15-inch pistols, so they're the OGs. They can actually shoot stuff when they fly high.
The other thing is with their gold. I mean, you mentioned earlier, Max, about struggling to use gold. Is if they use it in the enemy, they can use theirs in the enemy hero phase, which is like pretty useful and then they can reroll and unbind, which actually with a reroll unbinds a lot better.
Is it just unbinds or also dispels?
They can do it on dispels as well.
That's good then, because for the endless spells that you can put away in your opponent's hero phase, so because he cannot cast him in the same turn that they've been dispelled. That's a lot of people now. You see a lot. In your hero phase, they're dispelling their own endless spells, so they can recast them in their next turn. It's like get that portal away, and so I can reset up the next turn. So often it's helpful to like do that or stop the spells. So yeah, navigators are good, but because they don't have any bonus, often it's a bit tough.
So we just talked about the save stacking. Well, if you can remove Mystic Shield from the equation,
that is. And now Mystic Shield's on a 5, so you'll see it cast like with a 6 or a 7. So it's possible.
Well, it's the combination of Finest Tower, Mystic Shield, Hero Healing. If Hero Healing was like Finest Tower once per game per hero, it would be okay. But now you take Archaon and you can deal 3d3 wounds per turn, per round actually, per round. Sorry. It's
a lot. You need to get the Archaon. You need to get straight off the bat. Like if you can start, you can get him, and then you have a chance to shoot him down before he gets all the stacks and stuff. If not, it's tough. Then you need the 30 Iron Drakes bridge combo. That does it. But it's a lot of effort you need to put in.
Okay. Should we look at a list?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we have to.
So, first of all these lists are ones that Alex has written, Adeptus. So we have 2 Alexes on the show now. So
Kron is Kron.
I'll be Kron.
Yeah, Kron is Kron.
So you've traditionally been, well, in the last edition, a Zon player.
Yep.
So you've been you're tempted away by the looks of it. So first question is why? Before we even talk about the list, because we've got a couple of different Mhornar lists. What is attracting you to Mhornar?
It's one thing and one thing only: is the guilt save.
Yes,
the only thing.
It is great. Yeah.
I mean, with the first book, I was a Zilfin player. I was at the start of the second edition, with the second book actually, and since everyone was doing Zilfin Vortex, Iron Sky Command, I moved away from it just to try something different, um, because games became boring a bit. Because you play that Zilfin list. Oh well, that Vortex Zilfin shenanigans. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. So I moved away from Zilfin and discovered and fell in love with Barak Zon. Um, to be honest, it's just a whole different play style that is great. It gives you some play in the combat phase as well. I think the abilities are underrated. Bearer of the Iron Star is just an awesome command trait. Eris the Hammer is an awesome artifact as well. Um, so yeah, I think that Zon really caught my eye. I still made 2 Zon lists, and I did more again yesterday just for the event, just to make up my mind. But I still want to make Zon work. Um, but Mhornar with the Archaon spam that's expected and that's coming up. I mean, 3 out of 16 players for tomorrow's event play Archaon, and I was expecting a bit more, to be honest.
How many
So,
Godrakes are coming?
surprisingly, none.
Okay.
There are no Marathis, no Gotrek. Well, again, we have a few Seraphon players, so Croak. We have a few Motribe players, with big 5 or
Stone
4 or 5
horns. Yeah,
Stonehorns exactly.
they're good. They're good in a new
Oh, they're
edition.
awesome. They're awesome. But yeah, every single Chaos player is bringing Archaon. There are no Daughters of Cain players.
Oh wow.
Of course, tidings in the chat. Of course, Alex would have played Gotrek. You've been playing it from the get-go. Much love. So yeah. So I was tempted to play Mhornar because of the Gale Force Stave, because in the second edition I feel like we didn't always need it. It was always an awesome artifact for sure, probably the best in our arsenal. But I feel like we were able to shoot down our big targets before they got the charge. Now we can't do that anymore. So the Gale Force Stave with Navigator, or 1 or 2 Navigators, depending, I think it's our only option right now for the top dogs, the Archaeons of this world. So that's why I think that competitively, I think Mhornar would be our go-to right now in the early V3 meta. Zilfin is still Zilfin. It's great rules, great possibilities. Whether or not you can hitch with There's Always a Breeze is still up for debate. But yeah, I think Mhornar right now. I'm curious about Thring because of the rerolls. But I still think that Mhornar gives us that defensive ability to fend off those big units, those big monsters that can eat you alive. So right now, I'm still aiming, I'm still eyeing Barak Mhornar as the top skyport right now.
So yeah, I must say I agree with almost everything that Alex said, and I had this very similar journey. I only jumped in with the second book, but Zilfin Vortex, that was fun. You played it. Then everyone's playing it. Let's try something else. Okay, 20 Thunderers in Zilfin with the pistol.
Hey.
Okay, and then
Tron is still doing it.
yeah, it is a great list. And then Zon. Oh, that's so much different, and no one expecting it. Like they see KO and they see spell on the box, like, okay, what's this? Why Sky Ones? What are Sky Ones? What they do? What is this? So that's I like that. But then I also shift a bit towards Fring in the end, because just to make it work, like see if it works. And I think now I agree with you totally. Mhornar is the first thing that comes into mind, like Archeon or big monsters or whatever. You're not gonna shoot them down. I can like half their charge. I can like half their charge and then shoot the pre-charge unit, like the small unit that is supposed to eat your only shell.
You can redeploy as well. So there's a lot of
you can redeploy. It's much more gamey. But it is for my games. I'm not an expert in Mhornar. I think Matt would be the one. to ask here because he played a lot with double navigator. It's not as forgiving as maybe a Zilfin list. It is if you screw up something, then you're in danger.
Yeah.
That little Simpsons meme, like, I'm in danger, saying in a bus. That's what's happening here. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts about this list.
Yeah, just before we go, I think there are a few questions in the chat, and I don't know if you want to answer them or.
Yes. So we will.
Screw the chat.
So the first question from Ronan, he wants to know how the battalions work. So, previously, first of all, you paid points for battalions in 2.0. Now you don't pay any points for them, and each model or each unit rather has a category that they fit into. So they're either a commander, which is a leader that's over 10 wounds or 10 wounds or more. I can't remember if it's over.
It can be 10 wounds. It doesn't have to be.
Yes, but is it 10 wounds or more or over 10 wounds?
10 or more, I think, is the new
AOS3
thing.
Yeah, and then you have leaders, which are basically anyone that's a leader. So including ones that can also go in the commander slot. Then you have behemoths or monsters, which are basically anything that's a behemoth.
But not a leader.
Yes, but not a leader. And then you have troops, which is everything else, basically. If you don't know what something is, it's a troop.
You also have artillery,
which is not a leader or a behemoth.
Yes.
Everything else. So, funnily enough, Gotrek is a troop because he's not a leader, for example. A gunholder is a troop.
So, I mean, typically I find I write lists and then look at the battalions afterwards and go, can I fit any battalions in?
Yeah, and then maybe, do I need a second hero or a third hero? Okay, maybe I'll change something.
Yeah. One thing to note is there's obviously battalions in the core rules, which you can use. There's also battalions in the GHB. The key difference between them is the ones in the GHB you can't duplicate, but the ones in the core rules you can. So there's one that Hunters in the Heartland, which stops your troops. It's just 2 troops or
minimum 2, maximum 3.
Yeah. And it stops them being affected by the monster stuff.
Rampage
and stuff. Which is quite good. And you think, oh, okay, well, I'll just fill it up with everything else. But then you think, oh, actually, I've got 6 troops and I can only put 3 of them in it because you can't duplicate it. Which is something I thought discovered. Actually, when I played Cron last week, I did that and I didn't realise.
Yeah.
So, Cron, sorry, I cheated.
I'm blaming. The whole loss was just on that. That's what it was. Would have won.
The double kill had nothing to do with it at all.
No.
Okay. So this list, because this will go out on a podcast later, I'll read it out quickly just for anyone that can't see it. So first of all, it's Barak Mhornar, as we mentioned. Arcanite Admiral as the general with opportunistic privateer, obviously, because you have to have that in Mhornar. 1 navigator with the Gale Force Stay, which we mentioned a little while ago, and then an Aether Chemist. All of those heroes are in the Battle Regiment Battalion. Then the Battle Line units, a unit of 20 Arcanauts, and then 2 units of 10, all in the Battle Regiment. 6 Endrin Riggers, which I've assumed are just swords and pistols, because you didn't put anything else down. And 10 Thunderers, which again I assumed are all rifles.
And 2 cannons as well.
And 2 cannons. Okay, I did wonder about that because you've done that on some of the other ones. So 2 cannons.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
That
canvas.
Aethercast quality that you come here for.
So, but they're in Battle Regiment, and then an Ironclad and a frigate, both of which are an Alpha Beast pack. And the Ironclad has a volley cannon and last word. So that's 1960 points, 3 drops, and 120 wounds.
Yeah, so everything is in the regiment except the 2 behemoths, which are the Alpha Beast pack. And to answer Herbert's question, can they fly high while using that D6 normal move? Rule has written, yes, they can, because it's a normal move. It doesn't matter if it's D6 or if it's the regular 10-inch move. It's probably going to be FAQ'd just like the Mhornar Operatic Privateer, where you can't
Run afterwards.
make a normal move or retreat, but you can make a run move, which is strange. But that's probably going to be FAQ'd to prevent us from doing so. That's my guess. But yeah, so this list, that's the first list I designed for V3 with Mhornar. I like the fact that it has a lot of wounds. I'm going to use the 20 Arcanauts in the Ironclad to basically use Operatic Privateer, and then to use the Alpha Beast move to move them closer by a D6. So all the pistol will be in range, all the chemists and the admiral's shooting weapons will be in range of things I want to shoot. But now with the ruling that you can run in Mhornar with
And shoot.
and shoot, well, that's gonna change the plan as well. I like the frigate with the Thunderers. That's been a staple of mine from pretty much every list I've played. I know some like Matt don't like the rifle Thunderers in the boat. I totally get that, but that's something I like to do. It's nice firepower that can redeploy pretty easily, having some range as well. So it has served me well in the past. So that's all I like. And of course, the riggers. I know that the wardens are probably a better choice in V3, but they're there basically to ensure that the Ironclad can heal a bit if it is targeted early. So that's pretty much their goal.
Okay.
There you go.
A few comments or questions.
Of course.
So Thunderers in a frigate are now better because you can give them +1 to wound, so you can get them on freeze, and they have a gold share. They can do that themselves.
Yep.
So that's good. 18-inch range. That's always good. It's a lot of shots. So that's I like that part of it. I'm not too sure about the redeploy with the opportunistic privateer. I agree that rules as written now you can then still run, because run and normal move now is two different things, and then you could still shoot because first turn Mhornar you can shoot. But I'm not sure about the D6 move, because isn't that is the opportunistic privateer that prevents you from doing a normal move? Isn't that like, I'm not sure.
So
in the first battle round, the Alpha Beast pack move is before the first battle round.
Oh,
right.
Okay, so you redeploy D6 move, and then you technically would not be allowed to move, but then you can still run and shoot. Okay, so that's a lot, and then you basically you're
breaking like 5 different rules at once.
But that's what Mhornar does, right?
Yeah, for now.
That's what Mhornar does.
Okay, I get that. I like that. That. You could if you say, if I can still run, do I need a D6? Because you could end up with a 1-inch move from the D6.
Maybe, even if you only get the one, it's enough to get the Arcanauts in range.
Yes, but you could, but you can still run the ship.
But then again, that list was designed before
minimum.
I listened to Aethercast episode where you said that again.
But if you wanted, this is 3 drops. You could leave the Alpha Beast pack away, put the Ironclad in the Battle Regiment, and be 2 drops, which is also a good option here. I'm not too sure about 6 Ener riggers just to be there as repair crew, and maybe they have 2 rent weapons, which is good, but it's, how much are they? 130 points now.
It's 120 for 3, so it's 240 for the 6. Yeah, but they're probably going to be.
Ender riggers are more.
You're thinking of Thunderers, Max.
Yeah,
they're 120.
Yes, 120. And what are Wardens? 115.
115.
115. The riggers are there. If I choose to not use Privateer, they can remain with the Ironclad. So if I get a shooting army that outdrops me, then they can shoot the Ironclad, which is a prime target, and then I got some more healing for them. Other than that, I probably plan to hitch him with the frigate. So that gives me a nice fire base that can clear flank, kill a hero, stuff like that. and maybe get a lucky charge on top of that.
Oh, okay. Then another question is, you said
Sure.
you want to put the 20 Arcanauts into the Ironclad, but you don't have the buoyancy 8 on the Ironclad.
Because it's not a fly high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Barak
understand
Mhornar's
that for the
redeploying.
first turn, but what are you gonna do like after that first initial
Well,
alpha, basically?
that list was designed because, talking to our TO, for the flying transport rule. The ruling we have is we can disembark just like we did in V2. That was the ruling. So with that in mind, the plan was to drop the Arcanauts early on, secure an objective, and have him charge something.
Okay, so it's like the deploy and destroy. Yeah,
For the
you move
second
in,
turn.
drop them out, and then they're gone,
Yeah.
and you don't care.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I like the 20 Arcanauts in the Ironclad. That's actually something I tried in Zilfin recently, but obviously in Mhornar doing it, you're not wasting an engine work.
Yep.
So you still get your last word, which is really nice. 6 engine riggers, I've been putting those in lists a lot recently because you've got to have something for some healing because you're not getting reroll saves on an Ironclad anymore. So you've got to have some sort of healing, and
Yeah.
they
Then you get
are
an Endrin Master with dirigible suit for the same, like less points, and he's actually doing stuff, and he's healing free straight.
Yeah, potentially. That's a like a pivot point in a list, I would say. But they can be potentially in the combat phase 2s and 2s.
Yes. If someone charges, you like put them around the ship. Someone charges in, you shoot him with the ship, or the thunder is in the ship, or whatever you feel like, and then they get to fight with their saws, chop some people up.
Okay. We've had a quick question as well about Alpha Beast Pack and Fly High. So how is that being ruled for Red Harvest and your tournament tomorrow? Alex?
Yeah, so it's going to be ruled as you can actually fly high. But spoiler alert, I'm the only KO player, and I'm not going to be using that list. I'm not going to be using Alpha Beast Pack. But if I were using it, yes, it would have been possible because as of right now, Alpha Beast allows us to make a normal move, and we can replace a normal move with a fly high.
And just to add weight to that as well, the tournament I was meant to go to last weekend and couldn't go to because of COVID and stuff, the TO ruled the same way that you could fly high for that. So there's a couple of different TO rulings.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to stand, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be changed to a redeploy of these 6 inches. That's my guess on it. But because it's I don't think it's meant that way, to be honest. But for now, we're opportunity privateers, so let's use it.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, you mentioned you're not going to use this list. So what are the reasons why you chose not to use this one?
It was my second option, to be honest. Because I think this list is well balanced because it has low drops. The average drop count for the 16 players at my event tomorrow is 4.4. Well, it just added all the drops divided by 16 players.
All those people with 0.4 drops.
It's like a drop into reserve.
Yep. So it's still below average. 120 wounds is pretty good when you're pretty much at 4-up save all across the board.
Or better. That's quite high.
Yeah, exactly. I also like the fact that I can have a lot of movement shenanigans with Alpha Beast, with Privateer as well. So this list, I feel it's a bit light on Sky Riggers. I like to have more Sky Riggers, to be honest. But that's my playstyle. I wasn't sure on the Frigate, and since I never played Mhornar, perhaps I want to play I want to play test them more with casual games to not distract my opponent, checking rules again. So Mhornar is probably going to be good. That was my second list, to be honest. But spoiler alert, I'm going to play Zon tomorrow because Zon is where my heart is.
Okay.
Always.
What about the chemist? What's his role in this list?
Chemist is just to give me extra shots while I move forward. It's also to potentially buff the ship with the Ether Gold, or perhaps even the Arcanaut Company as well. I can also have options to put the Thunderers in the Ironclad. That's also an option I have. So I just think that for 90 points, it's a nice model to have. I think it brings a lot to the table. I just like its shooting. Again, it's I know it's only 4s and 4s, but it's
you can make it freeze and rend 2. Yeah.
I can make it freeze and freeze and rend 2 for one shot. So, but yeah, that's it. We need rend in this edition. We need rend. So that was my thought. So I already read the navigator. My other option was perhaps, because I only own one navigator, my other option might have been
second navigator.
I only own one, so I'm not gonna
just take Bookman, or nowhere is it written what the navigator looks like. I'm going to use Bookman or someone else.
Yeah, a second navigator would make sense. Or an Endrin Master with Arnest in the Ironclads for some extra healing, some extra close combat punch as well.
Yeah, that would have been my thought. Yeah, throw him out. I like that model as well. An Endrin Master with the Endrin Harness. Gives extra healing. He has a good melee punch.
Yep.
He can repair. Yeah.
Totally.
He makes the Endrin Riggers repair better.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's another great pick.
Yep. Cool. I like it.
Cool. Let's move on. Second list. Mhornar again. So I have 5 lists, so we'll be talking about this for a few minutes.
Yeah, some of them are not that different to the variations. So, one question before we get into the heart of this list is: all of your lists have got the grand strategy dominating presence. Is there any particular reason you chose that one? Is it?
Is that just to be sure? Is that the one that you have to have more units than your opponent?
Yes, at the end of the battle.
All right, so okay, good. Well, that's that's only because as overlords, I think just have to destroy the opponent. So for us, having more units just makes sense. I mean,
okay.
So
I always struggle with that one because I always feel like we have not as many units as our opponents.
No, but if you lose, for example, in the Ironclad, I'm gonna have the 3 heroes, the Arcanauts. I'm gonna have the Ironclad. So that's 5. That's half my units. If I lose that, I'm gonna lose the game anyway. If I don't, well, I have at least 5 units on the table.
Technical question, maybe also for you, Lee. This grand strategy, I think it states that you have more units from your starting army on the battlefield. So units inside the garrison, do they count?
Well, they're still on the battlefield.
No, they're removed. You take them up when you enter the garrison. You pick the model up and remove it from the battlefield.
Damn it, Max!
I'm not sure, but because I'm always unsure with these strategies.
So in turn 5, just get out of your Ironclad.
Yeah,
everyone, this is Barak.
Out!
Emergency exit.
That is a good question. I think, strictly speaking,
what does the strategy read? Does it say on?
It says on the battlefield. So I think, strictly speaking, rules as written, it probably does mean they need to be on the table because when you enter a garrison, you remove them from the battlefield, and it's I mean, it's hard to say that something that says you remove something from a battlefield.
I'm gonna check on the core book just to make sure.
But the garrison rules.
You remove from the battlefield. Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. And then you set up again. It's the same with Fly High. Like you remove the model from the battlefield and then you set it up again somewhere else.
I mean, it does. I mean, I'm trying to think what that could, the actual intention of that could be. Because I mean, the thing is,
I
then you
think
could have
maybe
a
it is
unit-
so you cannot hide people inside garrisons, like real
Yeah, it's
terrain.
removed from the
terrain
battlefield.
Mhm.
Like so you cannot say, oh, I'm gonna have more units than you because I'm gonna save everyone into my pyramid.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's the intention, or maybe it's unintentional.
Mm.
It's just a standard text block.
Because it could just I think because it just need to be. It's from the starting army as well.
That's good because then you cannot summon units, which is
yeah.
great. Because then you know if people start summoning stuff, yeah, Jesus.
I mean, it could be that they just use that as it's a nicer term than just saying
That's my thinking.
that isn't dead or that isn't
Yeah.
slain. It's just a nicer rather than adding in like a not. But no.
Because stuff
Yeah.
is in reserve, they're slain anyway after round 4 if they don't show up.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
yeah, it could be the garrison things. Could be. Not sure.
Yeah. That
So
would
maybe
be,
if you want to use that, maybe clarify it with your TO previously.
Yeah.
yeah. Along
so-
with all everything
Well,
else. You're sending
technically,
it to
I'm the TO, so I'm going to rule for
So
it.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to with Kay at the moment. You're going to be sending your TO an email anyway, or
You're gonna send not an email. You're gonna send him like a novel.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and then okay, well we've got another rules implication here. Gabriel's put up, so you wouldn't get your CP for your general being on the battlefield at the start of the hero phase as well. Does that say on the battlefield?
Ooh, yeah, I believe it does.
I
What have I done?
I don't like any of these. I don't like this.
This is
Go
a
back.
KO-friendly podcast, Max.
Sorry.
It does say on the battlefield, yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
it says on the
massive.
battlefield.
Oh, please clarify if garrison counts as on the battlefield.
All right, so we'll be playing V2 tomorrow.
Yeah, well, because that's a big one. That's a lot
yeah.
of command points you're missing out.
Oh, yes.
So you would need to at least start the game, but with him outside and then jump in.
That's why I'm going to
Well,
be
you need to be in at the start of every hero phase. Like,
Dirigible suit general. That's the solution.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I have no
Dirigible
choice now.
suit.
So
It is-
just
wow.
screw those two next Mhornar lists. They're not good anymore. just screw them.
Sorry, I ruined it. Well, that is a valid
Not
point.
allowed this kind of talk on this podcast.
Oh wow.
okay. That is an interesting one. That would be something that maybe we need to send in.
Wow, that'd be well, the command point. That's big. I don't care about the strategy, but the command point thing is huge.
Yeah. Because I mean that means you're looking missing out on all out attack and all out defense all over the place. So, okay.
Yeah, you need to invest in like
yeah.
more command point thingies.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the intent because I think the intent of that one is so they're not in reserve.
Yes.
But
I
again,
agree.
the intent of Alpha Beast, of Privateer, is not to be able to run or not to
The intent of the command point is also like they're not slain. They're actually still like there.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
on the battlefield for them means in the game, alive.
Yeah,
exactly.
So yeah, maybe we need an FAQ on that.
Yeah, I think the other thing is is if you deploy your general in reserve off the table is that it's so you don't get your command.
Yeah,
that's clearly the intent.
Yeah,
but
reserve or dead.
Yeah.
But inside the garrison,
if we rule some rules, rule as written, we cannot.
We've got to do most. Yeah, so so that's
So we can just skip the next two lists. They're not good anymore.
Okay, well let's just go for this one. So pretty much everything is just the same, but as
Evelina says Max broke all the lists tonight.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
For sure. For sure.
Max just come in like a wrecking ball. And so the changes in this list are you basically swapped 10 Arcanauts and the Chemist for an Endrin Master with dirigible suit.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly. So I think this one I think is more mobile. I think the Endrin Master with dirigible suit is a good pick.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have I can choose to not use Privateer and not use a 20-man Arcanaut unit. So it gives you some options. I think the Endrin Master with dirigible suit is a better hero. So again, it's the same idea but with a different hero. That's the gist of it.
One thing we didn't pick up on as well is both these lists that we talked about so far was 1960 points.
Yep.
So you'll probably be getting your triumph all the time, which you've picked.
Yeah, there's a good chance. Although there's some Gargans running around with less points. Yeah.
And you're going for inspired in pretty much all these lists because +1 to wound is good.
Yeah, so two units +1 to wound in the same phase. Yeah.
Yep. Arcanauts and Thunderers.
The Thunderers in frigate in both lists. Obviously, the range is good, and it's a mobile shooting platform.
Yep.
How do you feel about the fact that it's basically more points than an Ironclad?
A bit shocked, to be honest. That's because I don't own 2 Ironclads yet. Well, actually, I do now. I just bought one, but it's not on the table yet. But yeah, maybe a list with 2 Ironclads is coming up. Considering that I haven't played the 2nd edition. Well, actually, I haven't played with a new book with an Ironclad. I was a frigate guy. Shame on me. But now I'm an Ironclad guy all the way with redeploy and unleash hell. I mean,
it's still very strong. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
I've had an Ironclad with unleash hell in the last word. Killed an entire a fully healthy Terrorgeist when it charged in. So
we all know how you feel about Terrorgeist as well.
I play them a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think there's a huge amount to talk about in this list. It's a minor tweak.
No, it's the same thing. It's the same list.
So let's move on to the next one.
Yeah. So
the next one is Mhornar again. Quite a lot of changes in this one, so I'll go for it. So that's an Admiral as your general, opportunistic privateer, Endrin Master with dirigible suit. Both of those 2 heroes are in Battle Regiment. Then you have 3 other heroes that are in the Command Entourage Battalion, which is all you need for that battalion. So a Navigator with the Gale Force Stave, a Aether Chemist with Spell in a Bottle, and then an Endrin Master with Endrin Harness. So 5 heroes in total.
Yep.
3 units of 10 Arcanauts, also in the Battle Regiment. And then 6 Endrin Riggers, swords and pistols, and 10 Thunderers with 2 AF cannons, 8 rifles, both of those in Battle Regiment. And the Ironclad, again with Volley Cannon and the Last Word, that's in the Battle Regiment. So 2 battalions, Battle Regiment and Command Entourage, which is magnificent to give you the extra artifact, which gives you your spell in the bottle, the Chemist.
Yep.
And then there's no endless spell in this list yet.
Yeah, but there's 95 points to spare.
Yes.
So
is it a vortex?
Is it a vortex? I think there are 3 or 4 that I'm.
Is it a
struggling.
Viper?
It could be a Viper as well. That would be a good pick. I haven't thought about it.
How many points is the Viper now? I
think it's 90.
90?
Is it 90?
90, I think.
It went up a lot.
80 or 90, yeah.
But it's still
80 or 90.
Of course.
Because it just straight out slays like 3 eels.
Yeah.
No, if you're lucky.
So that was a pick. The Vortex is an obvious choice as well. Although I'm not sure with the new deployment rule, the way you deploy it. I don't think it could be as effective. It's different for sure. I like the Geminids as well. Just to be able to remove that all-out defense. I think it's worth it. But with the uncertainty of can I move the Geminids because the Chemist is not a wizard?
Yeah, I think currently the answer is no.
That's my thought as well. If the Admiral
you can cast them or you can put them out, but then you can't do it. Then they're just wild.
Yeah. So
that's the thing is, I think rules is written they're not wild either, because the way the wording for determining if they're wild or not is the caster, but then when it comes to moving them, it uses the wizard, so they're not.
So
then you need to make the heroic action to make yourself a wizard, and then you can move them.
But it doesn't make you a wizard; it just makes you able to unbind, doesn't it? So,
as a wizard, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not a wizard, Harry.
Technically, I could go with the Tome of Eyes. Is that it? To make the hero.
But then you wouldn't have spell in a bottle.
But you wouldn't have a spell in a bottle.
So it's catch
yeah.
22.
You mean the tome, not the tome of eyes. The what's it called? Tome, arcane
The Book of Magic, whatever it
magic
is.
book.
I don't know.
Magic book.
Yeah,
The
whatever.
book.
Yeah.
The big shiny tome, whatever. So
Yeah.
I have to cast it, but at least I could move it. So it's not spit in a bottle, but again, I don't know.
What about shackles? Just
That was
another
my second
block
pick.
of you can't charge me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that combined with the Gale Force Stave, that's really interesting because now you screw up with
Yeah.
the enemies.
Although,
Sorry, go ahead.
Although, because we talked about Archeon and this influenced by Archeon. Archeon has I think 4-up spell ignore, so he can just ignore the shackles or just swallow them. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, the thing is, I believe the wording is that you have the movement for the rest of the round, if I'm not mistaken. So if I go second with 4 drops, it's possible that my opponent forces me to go first. Now I can't set it up because if I set it up at the start of the second turn, now the next round he can dispel them. So it's going to be worthless, basically. So because it's not at the end, at the start of the next hero phase, it's at the end of the round. The timing.
The shackles, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
the
Are we
time-
But
talking
the
about
shackles is only on a dice throw anyway. Is it the half move?
It's a
or
2-up,
mortal
I think.
wound?
Yeah.
Is it only the mortal? I think it's automatic.
don't know.
The automatic thing is you can't charge if you're within 6.
Yeah, you can't
That's
charge.
just
They don't-
you can't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
which
there
is
isn't
great.
any way. Shackles don't half movement at all.
Oh no,
that's
it's
the
not.
you're thinking
was
about
more.
the
Realm Scourge Rapture.
Yeah, the Rapture, exactly. No, sorry.
And that
it's
one
can't charge.
halves the move until the next round. Yeah. So
like the
anyway, even
shackles,
if
I
he
think.
gets first turn, but when do you move? You move them in the hero phase after you can dispel them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that sucks.
So
Yeah,
if
because
you
before it was
set them up-
different because they moved start of the round or between rounds. Anyway, they would get it again. Like they would be tagged anyway again by the Rupture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, I think against many armies, shackles could be really good. You need to deploy them now in a triangle because they need to be within 3 inches of each or
All
6.
within
I'm not
3,
sure.
yeah.
Yes, I was about to say we got a question from the chat about that.
Everyone.
Whether they have to be in a triangle,
Mhm.
and basically yes, they do.
They need to be like in a little like more boxy. You can't string them out anymore. But plus a 6-inch aura on each side, it's still a big like between 2 terrain pieces. You can put that in there and say like, I'm pretty safe from that.
It's
area.
a 15-inch circle, pretty much. So slightly bigger than that because it's.
Well, it's more because you have 2, and then 6-inch from each side. So that's 12 plus the 40mm bases plus the inches between the 2 models. Or the
Because
3
they're
models.
wholly within 3 inches of each other. So
A wholly within 3.
Yeah.
Well, then it's 3, 6,
3
8, 12,
plus 15,
15.
plus 1 base, which is
Yeah.
32
It's still a
mil.
nice zone. It's
Is
a
it
good
32
zone.
mil base?
16, I think 40 even.
Yeah, they're Terminator bases. 40 mils.
So 16 and a third ish. It is
Technically
because
correct.
32 mil is
I mean, that's
would be
60,
16 and a quarter.
so this is 8, so yeah, it's a big.
It's a big area.
Yeah.
Beer bottle for comparison. Double the beer bottle.
Double the fun.
So, I mean, realistically, I think for endless spells at the moment, we're looking at ones that you don't need to move, which basically leaves
Shackles and Vortex.
Demon Rift played against it yesterday.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's stupid. It doesn't do much anymore. Because it doesn't do the wizard triggering anymore. It's just endless spells in the vicinity, and you're not putting out more than like the one endless spell. I think Viper is interesting because you can still like slay people, and you can get within reach with the opportunistic privateers. So, for example, if there's like the defensive eels, 3 of them in the front, Viper them and maybe kill 2 if you're lucky.
But the assumption is if you can move it, which is
no,
because
like when
play
you
a
put
lot
it
of
out,
points.
you move it. You move it anyway when you put it on the board, don't you?
not anymore.
Yeah.
The Viper?
They've pretty much every endless spell has lost that thing that says when you.
So you
cast
put it
this
out
thing.
and then you move it at the end of the or in the hero
Yes,
phase or whatever.
at
when
the
you
end of
do
the
it.
hero phase. Yeah.
Okay, well then, but maybe you can still like put it within, because if you're basically you can be 9 inches
'Cause
plus
it's-
D6 away,
Mm,
and I think it's 8 inches that you put it out. The Viper. I'm
yeah,
not
but
sure.
it's the thing is, it's not. Most of these things trigger at the end of their movement. Which, if you haven't moved it, does it have an end of its movement?
I don't know. Then it's wild,
So-
and I don't. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
maybe needs to be answered.
I think
Probably won't be answered.
I think in the meantime, until we get an answer for the chemist, you're looking at shackles and vortex. You could use cogs, but there's no point to use cogs because we
Well,
don't
it's
use your spell attempts.
plus 1 charge for everyone within 18 inches. Could be interesting for Zon. It's not as good as it used to be.
Mhm.
And I mean,
For
you have the
Mhornar,
points for the vortex.
Yeah.
It just does. It still does a lot of
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah, that was my go-to, to be honest.
Mhm.
But I wanted
The
to talk
vortex.
with you guys to explore some options.
What
Mhm.
about the? How much points is the comet? It's more. Is it 100?
Is it
God,
100?
I don't make the comment anymore
I think
because
it's
it
more than
doesn't.
100.
It doesn't.
Ah,
it
no,
doesn't
the
do
new
an
comet is
all of.
stupid. The new comet is no, forget the comet. It's stupid.
Yeah, the comet.
It's not as good anymore.
It does give them -1 to cast.
Yeah, screw that. Jesus,
But
no.
it's too much for
Next.
that.
Next.
Um,
What else is there?
Although I mean, I still. So why the volley cannon over the normal cannon?
That
Oh,
on that ironclad.
That's only because that's what I own.
mhm.
Oh,
I bought it secondhand and it was already painted, already modeled, and it's not magnetized.
I think
Ah.
with the current meta, there's an argument for it as well.
Yeah, more
Because
shots. Rend one, but
you
one
come
damage,
up against
but you don't
Gotrek,
lose
it doesn't get its
damage.
damaged half. You come up against
Mhm.
Seraphon with lots of monsters.
It's
with
still good.
their-
It's really
yeah.
good.
It is no. It even I think this we need to do statistics or ask JP to do them. But I think 46 shots, 1 rend but 1 damage. Maybe now does with all the saves does more damage than 1 rend 2 damage, because if you lose like 1 shot doesn't go through, you lose 2 damage potentially.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Whereas with on average, how many are these? 14 shots,
Mhm.
15. Maybe more damage goes through.
14. Yeah.
14. The other thing is, if you're shooting in your opponent's charge phase, then it's a swingy weapon because of the 46 shots, but you're getting them potentially more time, so you should even out a bit more. And then you're also using the last word. You get lots of bites of that 46 to
That's
try and get the
86
spike.
shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also there's the psychological thing of, if you charge me, I could be doing all these shots potentially.
Could be 24 shots. The only thing maybe with because I think the volley cannon is 18-inch range.
Mhm.
Yep.
And with Mhornar, already you're playing defensively. You want to stay more away. I rate the gun more because you have two shots at 24. You can still do project power from further away. 18-inch forces you to go maybe a bit closer.
Yeah.
But
again, with the Guild Force stave, I think it's not that big of an issue.
Yeah.
And then just to go
Depends.
back to the endless spell debate, I don't think necessarily you need shackles in a list where you have Gale Force stave, because you're already denying charges.
Well, then you're denying. The staff can only cover one area 12 inches around the boat. The shackles does the other end.
Yep.
Like your Arcanauts are safe because no one can charge them for now, and you can take care of the rest. And be at ease of mind. Mind at ease.
I think you might not need the last word, honestly, in this kind of list as well.
Oh, but you do.
But the last word.
You always need the last word.
But if you're not getting charged,
and you won't win this argument, Kron,
you're not getting charged by 1 unit. So maybe you're saying because people bring these ether wings to pre-charge to eat Unleash Hell. No, those are not charging me. Your big unit, yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna shoot them twice, or with how many ever shots those are in the end.
Yeah, I
46,
guess.
no minus, and then another 46 plus the rest of the guns with a minus. So you can play around. You can decide who's charging you and who's not. But you still have the threat of, or like the safety of, I'm gonna do damage back.
Yeah. You're all right.
Because if a monster charges you and it says no, I know that's in the combat phase. Never mind. Because
Anyway, Kron, just fall in line, all right?
just you're being late. You're bringing an echo, and then
Yeah.
you start discussing with us.
And if you don't have the last word,
what is happening to you?
If you don't have the last word, you can't have the last word in the argument. That's just how it works.
Exactly. That's
There you go. That's the best
argument
argument.
concluded.
Okay.
Moving on.
And debate.
Comment from the chat. Tiding says he's found shackles to be dispelled quite easily. Now, they have had a little bit of a buff. They cast on a 7 now. It used to be a 5.
Yeah.
But yes,
Very low.
an 8 to dispel is not
Can be done.
too bad. So, I mean, we know you're not taking this list because you said you're going to take Zon. So,
but it's nice to talk about. Yeah.
Would you guys, I mean, out of these 3 Mhornar lists, which ones do we think are the best?
I might go for the second one. This one maybe has a bit too many heroes for my taste.
Yeah. Can we also say it's got the who's who of every Kharadron Overlord hero in the book?
You're gonna make use of all the guild triumphs in this book.
Yeah.
Which I still need to print out and carry because I keep forgetting to use them. If you can forget that they exist.
Yeah.
Just rip it out of that book and leave the rest.
I don't even have that book. I'm just gonna, need to write them out.
Okay, so let's move on to one of your Zon lists.
Yep.
So the first one is 2,000 points on the nose, but it's 1 drop.
Ooh, I like 1 drop.
Yes.
I know you
Engine
do.
Master,
I know you do.
yeah. Engine Master with dirigible suit. He is the general with the.
Oh, he's gonna use his stupid command ability.
Yeah, he's getting
command
command
point stuff.
Bear of the Iron Star, which is pretty cool because it makes him more survivable.
And if I might add, especially now, because you can, 2-up that dude back to life, and then in the next hero phase, you can heal him again.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
With 2 wounds, and he's like, okay, he's gonna stick around for another round.
Oh yeah.
They didn't kill him off, and he ignored all the rest of the outstanding wounds.
Mhm.
But now you can put it back, and he's bravery 8.
Yeah, it's a pretty good chance.
Yeah. It was also answered in an FAQ, which has also now since been removed because the the calls FAQ got taken away. But it was answered to say it did work on mortal wounds as well, which was cool. Then you have an Arcanite Admiral with the Aether Spell Hammer and a Navigator. Everything's in the battle regiment. 1 unit of 10 Arcanauts. A unit of 9 Sky Wardens, which are battle line because of the dirigible suit general, with 3 drill launchers, 3 volley guns, and then a unit of 6 Sky Wardens with drill launchers as well. 10 Thunderers with mixed weapons, but only 1 Fumigator and 1 Mortar, and then a Gun Hauler and an Ironclad, which also has the last word and volley cannon like you're using in Mhornar.
Okay.
So, what do you guys think?
First off, my Zone list, they always had the hammer on the Engine Master with the harness, because 5 attacks, re-rolling 1s against monsters and heroes and doing 3 mortals on a 6 is a good chance. But now I think this is still good because the Admiral has the Rend 2 weapon. So it's a bit more valuable now to have 5 attacks, Rend 2. And what is it, 2 damage? So you don't have the average of the D3. So yeah, cool. Navigator, basically he's just there for an unbind and half move. What else is he doing?
And
half move is very valuable.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Will you say, Crown?
Oh, half move is very valuable.
It is valuable, but he's not doing the reroll charges for boats because these boats are not charging, I think.
No, but the boats can do them on can they do it? Rerolling charge and runs?
He can do it No, he can
Yeah.
do. They can reroll runs anyway. The boats because they have
Yeah.
the navigator on the war scroll. But he
Exactly.
could do if they're inside and he didn't use his Ether Storm ability. They could reroll charges, which was like a safety net. Like not
He
spend
can
points for that.
also use his gold.
And do
So
both.
when he halves an enemy movement, he can give a boat an extra D6 move and reroll charges as well.
Yep.
Yeah. But again, these boats are not charging no battle ram here. So, Engine Master, Iron Star, I like. Admiral, I like. The 9 Skywarns, that's the odd, no gold, but too big to fly with the boat. I get that these are a gun platform, basically.
Yeah. A lot of offense on
launchers,
these guys.
mulligans, nine of those. And so are the 6 Skywarns, basically, aren't they? Another 2 drill launches.
Yep.
And maybe charge them in to do a little bit of poking, but 4 Skywarns, that's 9 attacks with the champion. Freezing 2s, 1 rend, D3 damage. I'm not sure how much they're going to shift.
My biggest question about this is because Zon mostly bonuses you if you charge, but it seems to be a shooty list rather than a melee list.
It's a shooty list because I feel like we need some mortal wound output. So hence the drills. Then it's a counter attack, like soften him up and then finish him up close. So that's something I'm curious about because 3 drill launchers, 3 volley guns with all-out attack, hitting on 3s, that can be interesting. So I don't know.
Because even if you don't get the mortal wounds, it's weight of numbers with the volley guns.
Rend. Yeah, it's still
and you got -3 rend on the drill launchers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Then I'd like to ask why the Gunhorror, why doesn't he have a drill?
It was a drill cannon, but it was a mistake on my part. It's not Lee's for once. It's not Lee's fault. But yeah, the Gunhauler has a drill cannon.
Yeah. Okay. So another mortal wound on 5s.
Yep.
Okay. The sad thing with, as you said, Lee, Zon is you want to be charging. The only thing that made sense to be charging previously was a battle ram, ironclad, the Spar torpedo, gunhauler, and Skywarns. Now these Skywarns don't want to do it anymore, or they're not designed to do it, and the boats don't want to. And the admiral in the boat doesn't count as having charge, so he's not getting that, and he's wounding on 2s anyway. So
it doesn't matter.
It's a kind of a waste of that aspect. But you cannot forget that Zon, all the heroes get reroll 1s against heroes and monsters.
Yep.
So that's good, especially against monsters now. You get that +2 attack on the hammer, and you get the great battle command trait. Keep your dirigible dude alive, which means you can actually throw him onto an objective.
Oh yeah.
Fight with someone. You can throw him into, I don't know, sentinels, and then he fights it. He kills off a couple. Now they need to shoot him, but they won't kill him. He's coming back, and he's gonna fight them again next turn, and then by then they should be pretty decimated.
To me, that command trait is one of the reasons I play Zon, to be honest. Having that on the Engine Master with dirigible suit is huge, especially now because he's a single model. It's easy to get him into cover, then out of defense if needed. Now all of a sudden he's at the 2-up in on 1 rend, that gets back to life on a 2-up, that gets
can have his finest hour as well.
Yeah,
best day ever. Yeah, he's gonna have his best day ever twice because he gets back to life.
Best day ever. Yeah.
Yeah, he's before how I used him was spend the gold for reroll saves as long as he still had 8 or 7 wounds, because you get more out of it. If he's left with 2 wounds that you heal back up, then the rerolling saves is not as potent. Now the gold it doesn't matter, so you're using the gold for the. You're not even using it for the +1 wound. What are you doing with the gold with the Engine Master? Basically?
Well, if you fail that charge you want to make, still a possibility.
Yeah, guess. It's just a charge thing.
Rerolling
+1.
wounds
He's
for his,
charging,
range
so he's
attacks.
wounding on a 2 anyway, and if he charges, he's wounding on a 1 basically. So there's no reason to give him another +1 because there's nothing in game that gives -2 to wound. There's a very few things that give -1. I think the new Crow Boys have one thing, Fire Slayers have one thing, and that's all I know of. So yeah, maybe the gold on him. What are the Endermaster Guild triumphs? It's just blow up the boat, which he can't do.
And
What's
it's
the other
not.
one? The better healing, like heal
yeah.
1 wound more.
Which you can't do because you don't have the riggers.
No, but couldn't he heal an
No,
extra one?
'cause
He
when
heals a flat
you-
3. I don't think it's for engine riggers, if I'm not mistaken. It's
Yeah, it's
specifically.
when
Yeah,
they
but
heal.
then the gold on him is a bit wasted, maybe.
Mhm.
But okay.
Yep.
Sad face.
I
But
don't mind this.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lee.
I was going to say I don't mind this list, but I'm not sure Zon is the best place for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a shooty. You could do the same in Fring,
almost.
where you have the fight again on death on a 2+, which is
Mhm.
obviously this is better because you stay alive and you don't just fight once more. But you can have like rerolling 1s for more targets, and you could have exploding 6s on an ironclad, which makes the ironclad just so much more killier. Exploding 6s,
especially with a volley
rerolling
cannon.
1s, exploding 6s on the volley cannon.
It's a lot of shots.
And then
That's
even
interesting.
on the normal gun, because they're 2 damage shots, so there's more value in having 6s there. Hitting on 2s, and then with a triumph, wounding on 2s.
Yep.
So that's so your 2s, rerolling 1s, exploding 6s, 2s, and then 1 rend, however damage, whatever the gun you chose, which makes the ironclad and Fring like still killy.
Yep.
Like, you know, it's a lot of resources you're putting in, but it's still there. But then maybe you wouldn't need the Admiral for the reroll 1s to hit because you're getting it anyway.
Yeah, I get what you mean, and I think that Thring is a nice pick as well. It's just that I like to be able to be versatile. So, having those Sky Wardens, yes, they're mainly kitted for shooting, but they can shoot and they can clean up some units. Again, I think the drills are mandatory right now because of their motor potential and the rend. It goes by just so many buffs that an enemy can put out. So I don't know. I could go like the unit of 9 with 3 drills and no volley guns. I could do that.
We've seen units of 12s used as gun platforms in the backfield.
Yeah.
Just shooting with volley guns and whatever else weapons they have, skyhooks or drills. So 9, okay, it's 3 less. They don't get the gold for reroll all hits or all wounds. But it's still a scary unit.
I mean, you could also consider this in Urbaz or Custom Port with the extra gold to give those 9 Sky Wardens gold so they can have +1 to wound. If you want to do.
You could on Sky Wardens. Then if you're going gun balloons, then Sky Wardens are the better option because they're just cheaper.
Yep.
But in Zon, you maintain a little bit of fightiness.
Yeah, that's my goal, to be honest.
Sacrificing the repair ability of engine riggers, basically. But okay, sure. No, it is a solid list. I like to hear how this one goes. If you use
the 1-drop is really nice.
The 1-drop is awesome. You can stay far away with this because of the drill launches.
You got 24-inch range on all those shots.
So. Well, yeah, it's 36-inch threat range.
Even
more on the gun horror because he can move another 6 inches if he wants to. Then maybe the other gun on the ironclad would be nice to have a 24-inch on those.
Alex, you guys.
Pardon me?
Because the Thunderers want to be up close because they've got the mixed weapons.
These ones are want to be up close in the face. Maybe these. I don't know what your plan is, Alex. Maybe Adeptus, Alex. Maybe these you could even deploy outside of the boat. Like these are your front line. Charge me, and I'm gonna double shoot you back because of the ability.
Yeah, that's the goal, to be honest.
They're like your front line. okay, come in. This is 20 wounds. I'm gonna shoot you with all I have.
-1 to hit.
With
all
you
the
know
extra
4 ether cannon shots. -1 to hit, which is mitigated by the +1 you get for having all the special weapons. So maybe you could play Thunders that way. I thought about it. I feel Thunders are a bit overpriced, but maybe they're good for that. Yeah, they have sting, but they're staying around much more than.
To be honest, that's tomorrow's gonna be their test to see if they're worth it. So because I love Thunderers, I really love them, but we'll see. I think their point increase was.
You could do
Max,
like a
Alex, you
Mhornar
guys-
with that Thunderers in front, the ship or the navigator behind with the staff, and just like, oh, okay, you want to charge me? If I let you charge me, and you eating Unleash Hell, or I'm not letting you charge me. Like have that gun line moving forward.
You guys agree that that drill cannons are good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drill cannons.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do.
I
14
think so.
drill cannons. 14 drill cannons.
And then you
Dude,
shoot
I
at
don't
volley
Archie,
gun.
and he makes you reroll sixes.
Yeah.
14 squads of Sky Wardens. 2 dirigible suit men. List. Done.
I would
I'm
be
not
intrigued.
sure. It's
I
the
would be
whole,
intrigued.
14 Scourge Runner Chariot meme lists again, all over the place. They can win some games because people are just because of target priority. Like there's too many things to shoot at.
And for
they
all
could-
of
they need
that,
to go-
you get on average, you get 6 mortal wounds out of that per shooting phase. Yay!
It's not that much. Yeah.
But yeah, the potential is.
But you're
there.
36 inches away.
Yeah.
They're not
Oh,
charging
yes.
you. You're over there.
Yeah, but then you're not playing the game. You're not scoring
Yeah.
anything.
Are there any objectives?
You're
in your
just
game, Carl?
sitting in the corner shooting people.
You're doing it well.
Okay, so
Last one.
I mean, we've got
Oh,
one
sorry,
more
go.
list. So, is this the list you're actually going to play tomorrow or not?
Nope.
No.
Oh, and
Okay.
did we mention this is 2,000 points? So no triumph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2,000 on the nose. So, what is there a reason in this list that you didn't choose it, or is just because the next list you think is better?
To be honest, the Nexus is not even the one I picked. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I made a change yesterday, but it's a subtle change. Mainly is because I'm not that comfortable with those too many big units. I'm gonna have the same number of units in the next list, but I don't know that 9-man unit, even if it's scary, I wasn't feeling it. And the gun hauler, I'm not sure either, because even a drill cannon, which is nice, it's still only, okay, I'm going to do 3 mortal wounds. So the damage output, damage potential is limited. So 155 points in that list for a gun hauler, I'm not that sure. So of course they can hit with the Sky Wardens, with the 6. I wasn't just feeling it.
That's the whole discussion about gun haulers now. They're much more expensive, 155. Their output has decreased because of the 1 rend on the shrapnel. Or okay, drill cannon is nice, 3 rend, D3 damage, or 3 mortal wounds. Okay, forget the 2 little shots because they're not doing anything. Wounding on 4s, 1 rend, 1 damage. What I like is because we lost the reroll saves on the Ironclad. The 6-up feel no pain for the Ironclad is much more important. And this has nothing to do with the fact that I was like 2 weeks ago, I found out that when you use that, you do not allocate the wounds that you saved onto the gun hauler, but they just dissipate. And I played like my whole career like allocating wounds to the gun hauler. So I like that. It's pretty good actually.
Yeah. But again, it's more units close together. So again, less for objective grabbing and everything.
Yeah, but again, ships, they always around together with the Ender Master in between, so he can heal both if needed. Like they're 3 inches apart. The Ender Master is in the middle, 1 inch in between both, so he can heal both sides. Double repair.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, but I agree with the gunholder. For damage output, he's too pricey.
The thing is with the gun haulers, once you put it in the list, you often end up with this weird amount of points left where you haven't done it in this one, but you can often end up with like you haven't got enough points to fit in an extra unit, and you end up at like 19 something points.
25.
Yeah, and you're
And then you need
a
to
lot of
ally
points
in
under.
a cocksmith.
Mm.
He's 70 points. Yeah.
Or
Because that
Etherwings.
50 points is
Ether wings. Yeah, you just ally in Ether
Mhm.
wings for 45. Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at the last list, or the last and a half, because you're going to tell us what you changed about it, I guess. So,
Mhm.
Barak Zon again. Endra Master with Dirigible Pursuit as the general in Battle Regiment, with the Bearer of the Iron Star again. Arcanite Admiral in Battle Regiment. Endra Master of Endron Harness in Battle Regiment with the Apis Bed Hammer, as you mentioned a minute ago, Max.
Yes. Awesome.
Lots of battle line units because you've got 10 Arcanauts with one of each special weapon, 6 Ender Riggers with 2 drill launchers, 6 Sky Wardens with 2 drill launchers, and then another 6 Sky Wardens with 2 drill launchers, all in the battle regiment, and 10 Grandstock Thunderers, the same like loadout as before in battle regiment, and the Ironclad in battle regiment with the same again, last word and body cannon. So 1 drop again. But we're basically talking about taking out that gun hauler, which we were just discussing, and having more floaty boys.
Okay.
More floaty boys, upgrading the navigator to a Endron Master with Endron Harness, and putting in some riggers for extra healing, keeping the drills, so 6 drills, but at the same time having more fighty sky riggers. More of an MSU type list, which is more my style of play. Still being a battle regiment. So the Ironclad can heal a lot of wounds. So that's the thought behind it.
I like this because it's very close to what I used to play. I used to play 12 Sky Wardens, so now it's 2 of 6. Obviously, I used to play the melee, and but they're good still. Not sure about the role of the Admiral in this, because the heroes, they get reroll 1s against heroes and monsters. So is he just there to give reroll 1s to the Ironclad and broadcast battle shock immunity, or what's his role? Because we lost the battalion, which had the 18
and repel all borders for himself and the Endron Master. So +1 to hit.
Okay,
in
+1 to hit for 2 instead of 1. Okay. And the Thunderers in the Ironclad, 1 drop. Yeah. Okay. One question that we didn't mention for Zon, another ability, is to get out of the boat once per game in the hero phase.
Thunderers.
What do you need it with the Thunderers? They can disembark before the boat moves in the movement phase anyway.
Oh,
before
that's
shooting.
true.
So
that's
like the only reason I ever used it was to have the chemist inside the boat, so he's safe, but then jump out and buff my Skywards in the hero phase. That's the only use I ever found for
that
this
list.
ability.
It wouldn't matter.
Here, I don't know. Like, not even in this list, but in any list, do we see any use for this now? Like,
except for the chemist. Well, again, it depends, because if your TO rules it like you can disembark before the ship moves, it's pretty much useless. Unless you have a chemist that can buff something away.
Unless they do the garrison, the new rules.
Yeah. So if it's at the end of the movement phase, now it's for the Thunderers.
Yeah, then this is, if that ruling comes, which I don't hope, because it means your ship is standing around for like 3 turns until people get in and out and stuff. Then this is gold to disembark people. But let's hope that doesn't happen.
The other thing is, with the new rules for getting out, it doesn't count as a move. So you get out and then still be able to move in the movement phase as well.
Okay.
So you get out 7 inches effectively.
No, the hero phase demands you need to be within 3 inches.
Okay.
When you disembark in Zon, you need to be 9 inches away from.
Oh yeah, it's 3 inches. Yeah.
So it's a bit more restrictive. Yeah.
Yep.
Because you're getting out while the ship is still flying. You know. Like,
Yeah.
Kind of.
But it's just within, not wholly within, isn't it? So
I think it's also within this one.
I think it's whole. Is it?
The zone, I'm not sure about the wording, but I always leave like a little 3-inch gap for my chemist to jump out. Yeah. Basically, I measure from the ironclad. I measure 15 inches. Are my guy ones in the area or not? So if he gets out within 3, and then I can buff 12 inches. Yeah, that's the only use I found for that ability in zone. Just a side note. I don't think it's relevant for this list, unless I know you get the command point at the start of the hero phase.
Yep.
So you couldn't get your admiral out, get him on the battlefield, benefit from that command point for having your general
and then jump back on board.
And then jump back in. And also it's only once per game. Yeah. And I don't think that was the intended use.
In your hero phase rather than the start of the hero phase anyway, so you'd get out after you got the...
Yeah. No, that doesn't work.
And it is wholly within, by the way, I just looked.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, so...
Because it's not the garrison text, but it's their own text in the book.
Okay, so... Yeah, I prefer this to the previous list. I think...
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be running.
The more different units shooting. You can
Plus it's 20 points less, so you have a triumph bid. Engine Master, you could even stick the Admiral, like if you say you put the Thunderers out on their own as a gun line, you could stick the Admiral like close to them. He has the 5-up Feel No Pain, he has the Battle Shock Immunity Bubble. And then have our Arcanauts like, somewhere to eat his wounds. Yeah.
Yep.
So he can like hold the line with the Thunderers while behind the line you have these shooting platforms, and then you can go out with the Ironclad and some Skywardens, or they can move out and do damage and capture. True. Although I always feel a bit bad when you just have one boat, because it's mobility is just the boats are just the mobility that we have.
Yeah.
Like having in this list, having another gun holder that would take 6 Skywardens would be ace.
That's the first time I'm going to be playing a list ever with KO, even with the first book. First time with only one boat. First time.
Wow.
Yeah, I always had.
Kron always just one ironclad. No points for anything else.
You don't need anything. You don't need more than one ironclad. One ironclad will do it for you.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, I guess.
Just fortress. Just heal up. All out defense. Just turtle.
Unless monster says no, all out defense. Stompy stomp. That zombie dragon, or that Terrorgeist, or whatever it is that's charging you.
Yeah, but that's you just kill it. Charges you kill it. Easy.
Yeah,
done.
not as easy. You're not even killing a Stonehorn now with an Ironclad.
Except now you've also got units of
he's running around on a
2-up
best day ever, ignoring 1 rend and 5-up Feel No Pain with 13 wounds. That Frostlord is just a menace now.
Stonehorns are tough, but they're nowhere near as fast or as killy as a Terrorgeist. You could take a tank a Stonehorn. That's easy.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't played in the new edition against the Stonehorn. But they seem good.
The thing is now, Terrorgeists walk around in squads of 3, which is all kinds of fun.
But that's just because they missed the single thing in the pitch battle profiles.
Yeah, but look, we're using Alpha Beast Pack, which we know is going to get FAQ'd, and so they're using 3 Terrorgeists
in a unit, and they all for a command point they're all fighting again.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I'm playing. That's what I'm playing right now.
And then you see the four Stonehorns with 8 Metal Cruncher traits. So, I mean, technically it's possible.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, are Stonehorns not single either?
No, they are. No, I mean 4 single ones, but they can have 2 traits if you take the trait enhancement, and there's nothing saying that you can have the same one. So you can give them like 2 Metal Crunchers each, So every stoner is doing 2d6 mortal wounds at the start of the combat phase,
Yeah, okay.
which is stupid. Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
dumb.
we all agree.
It is.
But no ambiguity in this edition.
No,
Okay,
best rule.
watertight.
Best rule set ever.
So, Alex, you mentioned you changed this list since yesterday. So, what have you changed in this?
Actually, I didn't. That's exactly how I'm gonna run.
Oh,
We
okay.
fooled you, Glee. You've been fooled.
I've been,
Okay, so
I've been
you only
sending
sent it
you
to me
lists left
yesterday.
and right, and that's
Yeah.
gonna be the one.
Okay.
So,
Okay, cool.
One more, maybe another thing I'd like to mention, just because I'm seeing it. There's a fumigator in the Thunderers.
Yep.
Just for people, because we used to run like a chemist and fumigator to -2 to hit. No longer possible, unless they have some plus to hit. Then obviously.
well, that's
Yeah,
gonna
attack.
mitigate all the attack. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's less effective as it used to be.
Look, I mean, this actually come up in the game me and Cron played because I had a chemist and thunderers, and I didn't bother get my chemist out of the ship. I think because I realised, well, if he is there, then they just won't use all-out attack, and then you you can get it. You can get to -2 to make them like if they use all-out attack, like to mitigate it, but then they just don't use all-out attack.
Which then serves its
Yeah.
purpose.
Exactly.
And then they're
Yeah.
still -2 and no all-out attack, so even worse.
So they're just -1.
You're only hitting at sixes.
Effectively, you only end up at -1
minus
and then they just all out attack somewhere else instead.
Yeah, but then you have the chemist ready to buff the unit next turn.
So you're going to be playing this tomorrow.
Yep.
As you're the TA, do you know what battle plans you're going to play on?
Yeah, we'll be playing Veins of Gur. We're gonna play. That's Star Strike, effectively.
Yeah.
We're playing Survival of the Fittest.
Yeah. Okay. Which is the freeze in the middle, and you have the hunting pack.
Yeah. You choose a unit, and
That's fun. That's a fun one. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I can't wait to try it. I think the other one is Savage Gains. That's the one we're gonna be playing.
That'd be fun to set up.
Savage Gains is the one like that used to be Places of Arcane Power.
No.
It's the Border War.
Border War.
2 to 4 points.
Yes.
Okay. I like the Survival of the Fittest in freeing because the enemy has 3 units. Those 3 units are getting reroll ones against them.
Yep. Easy peasy.
I played that today against Slaanesh. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, and so the armies, because we're all registered on Best Coast pairings, the armies is going to be a gauntlet, to be honest. Archaon here and there, lots of Seraphon, lots of stupid things.
But that's good. Let the Archaon put each other into the sword, stick each other into the sword.
I'm the TO, right? I'm the TO, so I can't make it happen.
They can do it. There's nothing that. Why wouldn't they be able to do it?
What he means is he can manipulate.
You can pair them.
Together,
first
right?
round Archons. They can only be one Archaon at the end of the turn.
If we had 4 Archaon players, they would have played against each other for the first 2 rounds, for sure.
You're against Beast of Chaos every match, aren't you?
And Sylvaneth,
Beast of Chaos. Although Sylvaneth are not bad. They're not as bad. Alariel is pretty decent now with 3d6
there is actually one Sylvaneth player, is a great player, and there really is something to do with that list. I think that Sylvaneth will not be the laughing stock anymore. That's my guess.
No, also what I've heard, they can be pretty tough. Like Durfu, they're like the healing stuff that helps them out a lot.
They can spam +1 saves like no other.
They can do a lot on with their tree and the new trees, the single tree things. That can be also a pain in the ass for KO landing their ships.
True,
because you can place that single tree anywhere. Like they're all over the place.
So, how confident are you feeling with this list?
To win the tournament.
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
No, anyway, I'm not going to be in the competition because I'm TOing, so I don't want to for ethical reasons. I seldom play when I organize an event. Because you can always say, well, he picked the battle plans, he picked his army according to. So because I want to play, because it's been a while, I only play like 1 or 2 games for the last 2 or 3 months. So I want to play, but I'm taking myself out of the competition, so I'm gonna score myself 0 points each and every single game. So yeah, I don't think I've seen the list, obviously. They're really strong. They're really strong, and I don't think that with Zon I can make it a 2-1. 2-1 would be a great day, because there are lists I just cannot win with against. Actually, I don't think I can beat Archaon. I have nothing to kill him. So unless he screws up his charges or whatever, I'm not gonna win this matchup. With Mhornar, I think that my Mhornar list would be better off in that event. But I want to play Zon. I like that Skyport. I like those rules. I like my Sky Warden. So, I gotta play. I'm gonna be a lore gamer tomorrow. I'm gonna play the Skyport I love, and that's gonna
narrative
be it.
gamer.
Narrative gamer. So I'm hoping for 2 and 1. I'm expecting 1 and 2, to be honest.
Okay.
So that's because honestly the lists are very strong. Fangs of Sotek is still awesome. There are 2 of them.
But with this list, those skinks, they're just 4 wounds. Those skink priests and skink dudes,
Aren't they
whatever,
5
priests,
wounds?
whatever they call. I think skinks are only 4.
The little ones are 4.
Yeah, but
The little ones
the
are
Star Priest, the one that gives them more wounds.
Well, they have the 2 heroes above the block of 40, and I think they're both just 4 wounds. So yeah, maybe some lucky shots.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but it's still tough matchups.
Yeah. I mean, Croak.
Croak,
unless
Archaon.
Yeah, even if you could do on average, you need to do 9 wounds to Croak in a phase, so he fails his 3d6 roll to get over 20 or 21 or whatever it is to just instantly disappear. But then we forget that he still has his Feel No Pain, doesn't he? And he can
No, he
shrug
doesn't.
too.
I don't think he does.
He doesn't, but he
But-
can shrug to guard. still
Yeah,
on
I
2
think both Sotek lists have have guards.
5 cards. Okay, interesting. Well, good luck.
Yeah, it's just gonna be my real first 3 games in the 3rd edition. So can't wait just to see.
Let's hope not too many questions like, Tio, we need a ruling on this and ruling on
Oh,
that.
that's gonna happen. That's another reason why I'm not playing in the competition, because if I play someone on a top table and I get it interrupted all the time for ruling questions, it's not fun for the opponent. And if it's a top table game, it's not the best. So
But you have
I'm
to give
just
a
gonna enjoy
ruling on
some
your own
games.
game on the top
Sorry?
table. That if you had to give a ruling on your own game as well.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
hard life,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
but
the way it is.
yeah, so that's why I'm not going to be influencing the top tables and stuff like that. So I'm just going to be playing some games, having some fun, trying out some KO, some new stuff, just to see what is good and what is not. So that's pretty much it. Just having a chance to play 3 games tomorrow is going to be awesome for me.
Yeah, that's cool.
Best day
Just
ever.
get in. Don't
Get a
forget
bit of a
about
feel.
redeploy. Don't forget about redeploy. Keep your people out of 9 if you want to shoot someone, because it's just it's stupid, that thing.
Yeah,
But if you redeploy, you can't Overwatch.
That's another thing. Yeah. But no, what screws me up always is like I move accidentally within 9 of someone, and then they just move away, and it screws up my whole plan.
Or they move forwards and put more bodies onto the objective.
Even like get the Guardian back onto the objective.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say is don't forget about rally, especially with those thunderers, because
I completely forgot today about rally.
Yeah. I mean, I forgot the other day, and I had like 1 thunderer left, and I was like, "Oh,
I could have done that." I had 1 Arcanaut left to contest an objective. I could have done rally.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think a victory for me would be to just remember all the rules
Yeah,
That'll be a victory.
Honestly, there's a lot to remember now. A lot
Yeah.
more to remember.
So
There's a nice shout out. There's a nice cheat sheet that I use from the Weird Knobs Austin Club, which is a gaming group in Austin, Texas. And they have it, and it's a 2-pager, like front and back page. If you just want the GHB 21 match play stuff, it has everything on there printed out. It's very handy. We use it in the club.
I think
everything's bigger in Texas. That's
I
No,
think
this one
it's-
is this is a very cool document.
I think in the next White Dwarf they always have like a card pull out thing.
Yeah, but that's
gonna
gonna
be
be
a war
shit.
scroll.
It's gonna be
I
shit.
think it's meant. I think they build it as a cheat sheet on the. That's what it says it is. So it'd be interesting to see what that is. It's probably not very good.
I'm gonna bet you like 2 E for gold that it's gonna be shit. It's gonna
Hey,
like
the
miss half
GHB
the
was
rules,
awesome. You never know.
and it's gonna have like rules that are wrong, and people say, "But the White Dwarf thing says they can do this."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we'll see. We'll see when we get it. It might be good.
Take the Weird Knobs with a Z at the end, Austin, Texas. They have on their site. It's free to download.
Okay.
Print it out. It's awesome.
While we're shouting things out, I can't remember the name. It was one of the podcasts that have created some tokens. Let me see if I can find it.
Podcast that created tokens.
Yes, so you can print them out.
You mean the ones, the round ones?
Yes,
Like Gary showed
the Mortal Realms podcast have made a printable sheet that you can go and find, and it's like basically all the buffs and the little pre-designed 1-inch tokens you can print out, and you can buy coin cases and stick them in them.
Or
And-
you use the Aethercast code for 15% off. Pro-painted tokens, Pro-painted Studios UK to get real plastic.
They're
ones.
pretty good. I got those. They're actually really nice.
Yeah, I have them, and I need to get the new ones.
Yeah.
For the new abilities.
If we're doing news, just quickly, because I missed
News was 2 hours ago.
Yeah, well, I wasn't here 2 hours ago.
That's your problem, man.
Australian dice have been shipped out, so they should be with. They should be out soon.
Are you not?
Oh yeah,
still
we're out of
locked
lockdown.
Oh, you're
We're out of lockdown.
Oh, okay.
Well, at least South Australia we are.
I was going to say, hasn't somewhere else gone into lockdown now?
Sydney did.
Okay.
New South Wales on the
Because
east coast.
I heard that somewhere else had gone into lockdown, so I just assumed that it was just getting worse over there. So I assumed you were still in lockdown.
Over in the Shadowlands in the east, that's getting worse. But
Okay. Well, I think we've covered everything. And if we carry on talking now, we'll just go on forever. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Alex, for coming on. Max and Gron, as always.
Pleasure.
Thanks for joining.
Always a pleasure.
Everyone that watched, everyone that got involved in the chat, we love to have you get involved. That's cool. If you like the show, please hit like, subscribe for more Kharadron Overlords and Warhammer Age of Sigmar content in the future. And until the next time, Skyfarers, goodbye.
Bye-bye.